I'm Don. It's late. I'm up. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. Well, I can't see you, but you can see me, and it's nice to be seen by you. Except for those of you listening on your favorite podcast providers, Spotify, Apple Music, all of them. You can find me there. Thank you. However, you're watching this or listening to this. Right now, we're going live on YouTube as usual at 1 a.m. in the morning. Tonight's movie we're watching is Weapons from 2025, a movie that has an interesting connection to 2:17 a.m. So we'll be live during the spooky movie time. Anyways, the main reason we're going to watch Weapons tonight is because this is my favorite movie of 2025. A lot of uh, award stuff is going on right now, and people have been compiling their favorite top 10 lists of 2025 or whatever. And now that I've pretty much seen most of the stuff I want to see from the past year, I always think of myself as like a person who watches a lot of old stuff, nostalgia and stuff. But apparently, I watched like 45 new movies last year in 2025. So, that's almost one a week. That's pretty good. So, out of all the movies I saw last year, this was my favorite. I thought later on we'd also maybe talk about my top 10 favorite list of the year. You could tell me what your 10 favorites of the year are. Let me know what you think's going to win the Best Picture at the upcoming Academy Awards that's going on soon. So, lots to talk about with this movie regarding it, but I'm going to get started on it because, why beat around the bush? It's like 2 hours and 9 minutes. That's not too bad. I'm not going to hate on it. I'm going to go ahead and start this. It's on HBO Max. So if that's something you want to watch and line this up and do the old watch along thing, you can check it out there. Or else I always recommend the hard copy, the physical copy. There's a link in the description to get yourself a steelbook copy of Weapons. Um, let's go ahead and play 3, 2, 1. Play on Weapons. Look at that. Look at efficient. We just got started and we're already up and rolling, right? Well, let's see here. My friend Anthony Chabot is here. How are you doing, by the way? I'm up to 2019 in my memoirs, and I just lost some friends, and now I'm Bray, and now I'm Scream 7. It was okay. Yeah, that was a lot to absorb there, but uh, the friends that were lost, I also have lost some friends. I'm assuming there's some overlap there. Um, since my last live stream, my friend and your friend of the channel, Sean Blue Digital, as I became to know him, and I started off knowing him, and then later on he changed to Cinephile World Order. So our friend Sean was a big driving force in me getting past 1,000 subscribers. That live stream where I passed 1,000 live, Sean was like one of the main people out rounding up folks to subscribe. So he was a dude that was cool to me from the moment I met him, and I know he was a person who wore his heart on his sleeve. So because of that, he rubbed some people the wrong way, but he was always very passionate about everything he did, and that made him an interesting YouTuber. So, yeah, my friend Sean has passed away. Uh, fans of the channel, friends of people who watch other streams will recognize that the Cinephile World Order. You can see me getting choked up. Sean was always a really cool guy to me. I made a lot of friends through him and his channel, so it was sad to see him pass, and it affected me a lot. That's part of the reason I had a nice extended break after getting past 1,000. When I found out that news, I just didn't have as much energy. And then last night I was thinking about watching this movie. I was just thinking about watching a werewolf movie with you. It was the full moon, and I was getting all geared up thinking about what flick to watch. And I found out my friend Wes, the Ice Lord, another friend of the horror community, someone who I've appeared on a bunch of live streams with, super cool, nice, friendly guy, also passed away. So so far in 2026, I've lost two of my really close friends here. So um, I come to you today in this episode with a very heavy heart, so you'll have to forgive me. This movie is actually based on that type of thing. The director's best friend, one of his good friends from the old TV show he used to do, The Whitest Kids You Know, he passed away at like 2:30 in the morning, like a tragic accident where he slipped and fell, kind of thing. Trevor Moore was his name. So the director of this, Zach Cregger, wrote this movie about this tragedy that happens around 2:30 in the morning, and it's kind of his way of dealing with grief. So this all kind of ties together, right? Um, so we're starting off here on the movie. We've gotten past the credits and a lot of just sort of the opening introductions. It's cool because it starts off with voiceover and you get an explanation of who these people are and what's happening in the movie. um, these kids running with their arms out like planes. Like it starts off telling how they all disappeared at 2:17 in the morning, and in I don't know. We'll get into the disappearing kids stuff in a while. I see a lot of folks popping into the chat who I want to say hello to. So let's do that while these folks are out here running around. Um, let's see. I saw the Lanterns trailer. It looks like a rated R movie. Yeah, the Lanterns trailer intrigued me. I saw it this afternoon. It doesn't look like what I was expecting. I was expecting way more sci-fi space stuff, and this looks more like a gritty southeastern desert, cop thing. But I'll definitely check it out. I got a Christmas the dog. Really? I'm going to see The Bride. Yeah, I would like to check out The Bride. There've been, with the recent Frankenstein that was out on Netflix, the Guillermo del Toro one, and then now with The Bride. This, I believe, is directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. Is that correct? I think. I don't know. But yeah, I'm interested in that. Hello, Don and chat. Mayan, friend of the channel. Well, I love you so much. And a time like this where we've lost a couple friends, and that's what I'm discussing. The people who've been here from the beginning mean a lot to me. So it's lovely to see you come in, you beautiful woman. You. Thank you for being here. Let's see here. Hey, Queen May. Everybody knows that. Rip Sean and Wes. Yeah, yeah, I know. Oh, and Rip Brianna. Exactly. I know. Um, well, anyways, back to the movie. So it starts off, and they kind of tell a very interesting, like, prologue story where they explain the tragedy that has hit this town. And it's not a build up to it. Like your normal movie would introduce the kids at school. We'd see the teacher teaching the kids, all that stuff. But no, this one kind of jumps in post tragedy. It's just like, here's all the information you need to know for the story going forward. So just the storytelling alone is just way different than your traditional Hollywood constructed movie. Apparently, when the screenplay started going around Hollywood, Jordan Peele really wanted it for his production company, and Universal and Paramount and a few other people really got in after it. I think New Line ended up winning. They gave him like $38 million for the budget, which was like the most anybody would commit to it. But then it made, wrote it down, what was it, 270 million. So even though it was kind of a small movie, it ended up making a ton of money. So I think that's one of the main things that jumped out about me is at this one for me is how much return on investment it got because this is just a word of mouth movie. Julia Garner is starting to develop she's sort of the it girl right now. She was in so many movies last year, and apparently this was supposed to be released this year. Weapons was supposed to come out in January of 2026, but the pre-screenings and everything were so good that they released it in late August of 2025 because a lot of horror movies have had success in that slot, sort of that pre-Halloween build-up slot. Oh, let's see here. May says, thank you. It's awesome to see you as well. I love this movie. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Like I said, last year I watched a lot of movies. I always think of someone, just watches the same old stuff over and over again that I already love. But apparently, I'm a person going through my reviews and everything. I watch a lot of new movies. I'm surprised. So trying to go through and figure out what I thought was the best from last year was kind of tough. Um, so this one jumps out as me like most people say Sinners or One Battle After Another. I think this is kind of the dark horse one of those three that really deserves a lot of love and attention. Like the aforementioned Frankenstein is awesome, like right in that group. Um, well, actually, while I'm throwing it out, let's go ahead and talk about the 10 best movies I saw, or my 10 favorite movies I saw last year. Let's see. First, coming in at number 10, I thought Naked Gun or Long Walk. Um, the Naked Gun one, I was shocked that it was worth even watching. Like, Liam Neeson is the only reason I wanted to see it. I was like, well, they're going to redo Frank Drebin with Liam Neeson, and this isn't going to be very good. And it was basically like a live action version of Family Guy, and it's from Seth MacFarlane. So what do you expect? But I found it funny and entertaining for a movie I expected nothing from. I got a few chuckles, and it had the um, police squad feel to it, right? And then the Long Walk. I enjoyed it, but there's so much of that right now. They redid The Running Man, and I watched those two like real next, like close to each other, and they're very similar, like Hunger Games plots type movie, where everything's just so bad in the future that we all have to do some crazy game show thing to win money or whatever, which is true, but You can only have so much of that. Mayanne says her favorite is This and Sinners. Yeah, Sinners, a huge, big success. We'll see where it falls for me here. Um, so I thought those two were, 10th spot, let's say. Number nine, I liked Companion. I don't know if you guys saw that. That was like a sleeper hit to me. That was very like Stepford Wives type thing. It's a good silly comedy about these like it's a better version of Meg, like that's of Megan. um, it's about these like kind of futuristic, almost like Lars and the Real Girl sex robots type deal, and then they, extend it farther into love and relationships and a bunch of other things. But really, it's more of just like the classic like Stepford Wives, expect feminist expectation of what men think women should be and blah blah blah. So it's deep, but it's also funny and ridiculous, and it's got some good kills. I laughed a bunch of times watching it. So, Companion number nine. We'll take a break here, and here's the part where Julia Garner is, we see she's an alcoholic, or a struggling alcoholic, I should say. And that's part of the depth of her character. Like I think part of the reason this movie succeeds is it does the old thing I say Stephen King is the best at, where it spends a little bit of time introducing us to folks. So we learn to care about them, like what's wrong with them, what are their things they're trying to overcome, why are they interesting, whatever. But as I mentioned, this movie doesn't start off like before the accident or the incident. It kind of jumps in afterwards, so it feels like we're learning on the fly. It's a really clever writing device that helps the story, flow. And it's also got kind of this like Pulp Fiction-y deal, or Trick or Treat, or whatever those type of movies go, where they intertwine the stories all different ways, and characters we see in the background of one scene later on, we'll go back to that scene and revisit it from their point of view. So like right now we saw like sort of this interesting bum character in the background of her leaving the liquor store, and then later on he turns up to be an important part of the movie. Um, man, it says yes, this and sinners. Um, oh, where was I? Oh yeah, the what, number eight? I believe we were on. Number eight, Superman. I was very impressed by James Gunn's ability to do something interesting with like superhero genre. Right now, the returns on those are like dropping fast. Like people are no longer interested in superheroes at all. There was a good decade there where you could just have any superhero and it would make money. Um, so James Gunn's Superman, it interested me, and then we were talking about the Green Lantern trailer for HBO, and then the Peacemaker that's already out, and later on, I think around Halloween time is when they're supposed to have that Clayface horror movie, and then we get Supergirl in the summer, I think. So this year will be a big year, especially with the whole debacle with um, HBO Max, or HBO/Warner Brothers, being purchased by Netflix. Netflix and Paramount got into a big bidding war. Paramount wanted everything that Warner Brothers has with their cable TV division, primarily CNN. And then they were willing to also absorb all the movie and HBO stuff into what they're doing. As where Netflix just really wanted the movies. They wanted to have a theatrical, wing. They didn't really have that before. Um, buying Warner Brothers would give them that. So there was this big bidding war that went on for a month or something, and then finally Netflix won. And then this past week, they're like, nope, never mind. Paramount came in and offered a bunch more money, and now Paramount owns HBO Max. So what happens with Warner Brothers, which owns DC Comics, and that's why those are all from Warner Brothers? What happens with James Gunn and his future there? Do they want him? Is he going to continue to work there? Who knows? So all that's going to be interesting over this next year regarding that. But I thought Superman was fun and different and weird. It wasn't, one of the five best movies I saw of the year, but when I think back to 2025, it'll be one of the ones I remember the most. There was a lot of stuff that wasn't all that memorable to me. That's actually crazy. I can't keep up with who owns what. Well, I was thinking about the other day. The thing with movies I've always enjoyed is just all of it. I like, how much money they made, like I mentioned earlier, but versus what did it cost to make this? I've always, who makes the money, and how did DVDs become DVDs? Like, they sell it to the distributor buys the rights, and the distributor burns the DVDs, and people, all these different complex things for the business of movies have always fascinated me. Um, So yeah, that right now that whole Netflix Warner Brothers thing has been really interesting to me because Warner Brothers, like I said, owns all that stuff from cable, all the Discovery stuff. Well, Discovery actually owns Warner Brothers, but whatever. Um, so yeah, the big thing is that Paramount wants to get CNN, and they're going to turn CNN into like a Fox News light. They're going to make it way more right wing. So that's been like it all boils down to politics more than it does to movies. It's kind of ridiculous. So here we're back to the movie that I'm ignoring. Julia Garner's talking with her boss at work, right? And ever since this tragedy happened in the movie, that one morning, 2:17 a.m., a whole classroom full of children, like all kids who were in the same class at one school, just disappeared. So the next morning, when the school teacher comes in, they're all, no one's there. So immediately she's like the prime suspect. They think she's got something going on because what's the connection between all these missing kids? They're all in the same class, her class. So we kind of get to follow her around and see what it's like to have people giving her the side eye and thinking, she's probably some sort of whatever. But she's also got like a back history that we learn about and everything, like most good stories. Um, but she has this boss, the principal or whatever, like this very memorable kind of chubby face. And later on, he comes running up at her and attacks her at a gas station with these crazy bulged out eyes. This horrifying scene. So just looking at this guy's like chubby cheek shake, I'm already looking forward to this gas station scene. Let's see here. Let's move on. What after Superman? What are we on? Number seven. Number seven from last year. Sinners. I was mildly let down by Sinners. I heard nothing but great things about it, and it is a movie I will definitely remember and go back and rewatch again and revisit. Um, but I didn't think it was one of the best movies of the year. Primarily because there's sort of a subtext to the story about like these white vampires and black music and theft and a bunch of other things. But the movie itself has a lot of theft. Like it is just from dusk till dawn and a little bit of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And maybe a pinch of Crossroads with Ralph Macchio. Like I feel like I'd seen a lot of Sinners before. Michael B. Jordan was like, did a fantastic job. But I'm still like, I need to watch Sinners again because I don't totally understand why he was twins. Like, I'm sure there was some sort of meaning to him playing two roles or whatever, but I never quite got it. Otherwise, I thought, the cinematography is beautiful, everything, it was a fun ride. The music was great, but it just wasn't so original and interesting to me that I thought it was the best movie. But then again, most people don't think this was their favorite movie from this year. Um, Speaking of this movie, here's the part where we see that the teacher, she's maybe going on a little alcohol binge, falling back into her alcoholic ways, and she calls this her booty call a local cop. And this dude with this chubby cheeks, I didn't know it. He's got like the big cop stash and the crazy hair or whatever. This is the guy that played Han Solo in the Han Solo movie, Alden Eldenreich or whatever his name is. Um, so yeah, he looks nothing like Han Solo here, but in that movie, he looked like young Harrison Ford. So it was funny to me that he turns up in this. It's like, oh, there you are. I wonder what happened to Han Solo. And this little bar is pretty perfect. This looks like a small town bar. And the way this is all shot, it's the masterfully directed. Like I mentioned, Zach Cregger, he's kind of the hot new director right now. Often with directors, they have one big movie that comes out or like a low budget movie that catches everybody's imagination and gets a lot of critical acclaim. In his case, that was Barbarian with Justin Long and I don't remember who else was in it. But Barbarian got a lot of like word of mouth and everybody started, I never heard of it. People told me go check out Barbarian, you'll love it. So um I ended up did like it. It was weird and different. So sorry, I'm distracted by this dude. He no longer looks like Han Solo at all. It's like a completely different man. Um uh, uh, um oh, this is his sorry, so I was distracted by this Han Solo thing. Her and him and Ruth from Ozark having this conversation is just blowing my mind. This is his second movie. So a lot of directors they get like a first movie. Tarantino's first movie was Reservoir Dogs, and then he gets a little bit of money and he can make Pulp Fiction, which is like a big movie. Spielberg does really good with like Duel. and then he ends up getting the money to make Jaws. So like they start out small. You don't get big budget money because you're a new director, but then that second film, after you've gotten people to pay attention to your first film, that's where you get to do what you want. Um, so Barbarian was his first film, and this is his second film, and of course, here it is. It made a bunch of money, and it's going to, be up for Academy Awards and a variety of different wins at the Golden Globes and whatnot. Matter of fact, let's check and see what awards this has won. Um, an interesting thing for you, I know some of you watching might be a fan of my YouTube short series of movie related Google Easter eggs. If you Google any of the movies nominated for any of awards during award season and stuff, a little bubble pops up and it'll show the trophies of what they've won, and then it'll tell like a little blurb of what it is. Um, all right, let me redo this one. So there's weapons. Where are you at? Maybe it doesn't do it anymore. I just lied to you. Huh. Yeah, this time it didn't do it. Well, previously, until today, way to let me down, Google. Is it this one? Maybe that's the problem. Watch me stumble through trying to find Google Easter eggs. Yeah, it's gone. Never mind, Google. You screwed me. Well, anyways, it used to have like little trophies that would pop up and a little bubble that would tell what it was nominated for and what things coming up. And then I'm assuming it goes away after a little bit when next year's movies come out. So there's a fun Google Easter egg for you for those of you who like to keep up with award season movies. Um, Movies that win of a lot of awards and get a lot of critical acclaim always interest me because they're not necessarily the movies that stand the test of time. There's been so many movies over my lifetime where it was like, this is the big movie that you need to see. La La Land. La La Land's not a big historically, everybody needs to watch that at film school type movie. The English Patient. I remember that was like a big Oscar movie. Won a ton of them and stuff. Nowadays, nobody watches The English Patient. Braveheart. Braveheart still got an audience, but it's interesting to me, like the movies that the critics love and get a bunch of attention. Crash with Sandra Bullock, that one that like sort of love your neighbor movie. These movies they get big for 5 minutes and get a bunch of awards and basically, Hollywood likes to smell their own farts. So anything real overactorly and pretentious, they like to, promote. They don't like to promote horror. They don't like to promote sci-fi. Nothing with lots of explosions. So these two are, you can see they have like a weird, you know, uh, well, I mean, she's an alcoholic and he's a crazy cop. So you can see that they got like a contentious relationship, even though he's, they got this affair going. But it adds to the character. The real horror of the story hasn't quite started yet. We've just, the missing kids is the thing that gets everything going, and which is really in the big picture of life the most horrible thing there could be. Let's see here. Um, let's see. Is that something I can't keep with what? Double good-looking man on screen for my delight. Which one? Oh, the Michael B. Jordan twins. Okay, I got you. I'm back on train with you. Heading to Google now. Yeah, I need to find out because, like, let's look up one battle after another and see if it does it for that. Yeah, no, quit doing it, you creep. You made me look bad. Yeah, before they used to have like the Golden Globe trophy would pop up and then it would tell you like nominated for 7 Academy Awards or whatever. So maybe in the middle of the night they're fixing it or something. Let me know in the chats or the later on in the replay if you find it. But it was there before. I promise. I promise. Speaking of promise, I did promise you to continue with my top 10 favorite movies of 2025. Let's see where we're at. I believe last was Sinners at number 7. Like I said, Sinners real good, worth watching. Need to see it if you're, trying to see the current good stuff floating around and worth checking out. I just didn't love it as much as everyone else. So, need to watch it again. Definitely will. Just probably not anytime soon. I'm not a big vampire guy like a lot of other people. I'm more of a zombies and werewolves kind of dude. Um, Number six, Begonia. I don't know. Did you guys see Begonia? Begonia's crazy, right? It was in the theater, but it had a small, like, kind of indie run. Didn't make a ton of money. Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons, real dark, crazy comedy, like sort of mind bending, bizarro. Like it's one of those where some people will watch it and when they're done, they're just like, "What the hell did I just watch?" Um, it's about corporate America and greed and the way the world has gotten, where so many folks are conspiracy theorists and they're willing to believe that people who run corporations are really aliens. These two sort of hapless dorks kidnap a CEO of a corporation, and the story unfolds from there. But it's a really good version of Celtic Pride, basically. No, Begonia's wild. It's. I definitely recommend it. I believe it's. Is that a Paramount or is that one on uh, uh, Peacock? I think that's a Peacock. Yeah, I think that's a Peacock. So anyways, yeah, I recommend Begonia. That one's wild and crazy. It's be warned, you might not appreciate it. It's silly and funny and it makes you laugh, but you also kind of need a shower and a hug afterwards. Karen, hey Don, how goes it, man? Love this one. Super twisted. Hey, May and Anthony. I love me some Karen. What a fun lady. Smart, real cool. If you haven't checked out her channel and her live streams, be sure to. Speaking of live streams, May Ann and my friend Carrie Crave Cinema are going to be doing a live stream with Villainous Vixen. Is that what Jen's current name is? This Friday. Be sure to check out May Ann, Carrie Ann's Carrie Craves Cinema and Mayan's pages for that, because for sure, like as soon as I saw that go by on my feed earlier, I was like, "Ooh, I'll have to check that one out." They're doing what, Chucky, Bride of Chucky, I think. Um, so yeah, be sure to check out Karen's channel and my friend Mayan and Carrie Craves Cinema, some of the best ladies in the horror community. Villainous Vixen. Uh, Mayan says, "Don't talk about farts because then Echo is going to show up." Let's see here. Oh, it's nice seeing I'm good and rough work, but then on days off, that's good though. Oh, so these two are catching up. I appreciate that. It's a P what? I don't know. Um, so anyways, so here we see her back at the liquor store. So we're kind of building. Like I said, it reminds me of Stephen King because King's always got the stuff about the liquor store and the alcoholism thing. And this time, a woman runs up on her and grabs her and throws her to the ground, starts beating her. And, as an audience, we're like, what in the hell is going on? Like, is this some sort of like crazed, like the crazies, basically? And then we learn, no, that the young Harrison Ford guy, this is his wife or girlfriend or whatever. And she is super pissed. Um, you'll have to forgive me. At certain parts of this movie, I'm not as familiar. This is only the second time I've ever watched this. I often say when you watch movies, the first time you watch it, the writer gets to shine. All right. You're burdened by the plot when you're watching the movie. You have to figure out who's this guy? Oh, who's that lady? Is that his sister? Oh, that's his wife. Oops, never mind. So just figuring out the plot, what's going on, who's after what, who's the bad guy, all that, that's the first view. That soaks up everything. But then when you go through and you watch it a second time and you get to really soak up how the director shot the shots or, how the editor cut things or the sound effects, all that comes the second time around. Um, so I don't really get a chance to appreciate a movie and love a movie until I see it a second or third time. And then I can notice that, the damn set designer did such a good job. But the first time I'm busy just, trying to figure out who's this lady. Oh, she's an alcoholic. Okay, what's Josh Brolin doing here? What the hell? Um, hey, my friend Russell is here. Nice to see you. Yeah, we had glad to see you here, Russell. Or sorry, Tex. We talked about this before. You're not a fan of that, and as a Donald, I understand. So I will call you Tex. There's the link. Mayan put it in the chat. So if you're watching this later on, be sure to click that link or copy and paste it and watch Bride of Chucky with some fantastic ladies. Uh, this scene right here, she's having a dream and she goes into her classroom and all the kids are back, but like one of them has like this crazy sort of zombie dead Joker face paint, like he just looks, zombied out. And then she pops up from a dream and sits up scared. I hate that horror trope with my entire heart. Like, You could like fuel a nuclear reactor with how much passion I hate for the fake out jump scare awake from a dream thing. Because nobody wakes up from a dream where they just pop up, like sit straight up. Nobody has dreams like this, but it's just a cheap way to do something scary and then buy it back. Oh, the sister's dead. Never mind, it was just a dream. So I hate dream sequences in horror. It's it's worse than the cat jump scare. It's my maybe my number one pet peeve. But there she's starting to have dreams about these missing kids and the horror, and we that's our first glimpse of the witch played by Amy Madigan. She steals the show. I'm waiting for her to show up. Yeah, welcome Tex was the long way of saying that. Nice to have you here, buddy. Tex, what'd you think of this movie? Um, let's see here. Hi, Texas Sweet Chat. Much I love your watch longs. Yeah, Tex is the man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, we all love Tex. I'd give a little mini eulogy for our friend Sean here to start the show, and Tex is one of the many good friends I met through Sean. So part of the reason I always say I'm grateful for Sean Blue Digital in the cinephile world order is how many friends, my Mayanne, between her and my friend Rob's Vintage Video, that's where we became buddies. And, now me and her is thick as thieves, as they say, whatever that means. So here, Julia Garner, I always call her that because it means I'm getting better. Because I used to call her, I already forgot it now. Um, what the hell is her name? From Ozark, Ruth, that's what it is. Um, I didn't watch Ozark when it was the big hot thing and the finale was coming, and every year they're like, "There's another new Ozark coming." I didn't watch it then. Those Netflix things. Once they get 3 or 4 seasons in, it's like, oh no, that's like a week or two of work. I'm not interested in jumping in on that till it's all done. Um, so that one I never got around to. And then about, I don't know, the end of last year, the summer or something, me and Mrs. Night Owl started binge watching TV show, and we worked Ozark into the mix. And I, like everybody else, fell in love with Ruth. I think she's fantastic. Just this ballsy little tiny woman, basically in this mobster world, and it's like such a twist on like the Michael Corleone tough guy or Al Pacino tough guy Scarface gimmick. It's she's just bossing everybody around and running things, but she just got this squeaky, high pitched voice, and but she's the mastermind. So she really steals the show. There's a reason she won so many awards for her performance on there, and she really made a name for herself. But I never saw it when it was popular. So then this past year, after I knew who she was, suddenly I see she's in the prequel to Rosemary's Baby, Apartment 7A. There's a review for that on my channel too. Uh, she's in that, so she plays the dancer who breaks her ankle and then later on commits, jumps off the building and all that. So the other pre-story in Rosemary's Baby. So she's in that. She's in this. She's in The Wolf Man from Blumhouse. She's in Fantastic Four, where she plays the Silver Surfer. So apparently, I kind of stumbled onto her while she's blowing up. So this one is one of the first ones where I was like, it was interesting to me that the person she plays on Ozark, which is like a really, young woman, 18, 19 years old, whatever, with, trying to raise her brothers and stuff, mature beyond her years, to move into the mom role. So in The Wolfman, I was surprised to see like, oh, okay, she's gone from being like the feisty young 20 something to playing, the mom role. And she did it really well. I was surprised how well Ruth handled it. I was afraid she's going to tell her son she's going to shoot him. Um, so then when I saw this, I was like, her as a teacher, huh? It's like, yeah, I could buy that. A lot of teachers are younger and stuff. But the whole thing with her being an alcoholic and cheating and all that stuff, it's like, wow, she's got a lot of depth. And then later on in Silver Surfer, playing a mother again and stuff. So I guess she's officially just moved on to that era of her career, that phase. And it's nice to see her blow up. She did a good job on that show, so it's cool to see her, kind of get her flowers, as they say. So now here's the first scene of Josh Brolin. Brolin's one of those ones where I remember him from Goonies as a kid, and it never even occurred to me that was the same guy when he turned up and stuff later. I'm like, oh, what was his dad's name? Jason Brolin? Something Brolin. Whatever. James Brolin, that's what it was. His dad was in like Amityville Horror and some other stuff. He's real popular. He's at the end of Pee Wee's Big Adventure. He plays Pee Wee Herman, the cool version with a beard. Um, so his son, it's like, oh, here's, James Brolin's son is in things. And he's awesome. Like he's in so much good stuff. Sicario, and I don't know, he turns up Dune. He's Thanos for goodness sakes. So this dude really carved out an awesome career for himself. And every time I see him, he's one of those people like, oh, I'm in good hands when Josh Brolin's here. He's got a stern, tough guy face. Um, Loved it. Oh, weapons. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what we're discussing here. My top 10 favorite movies of last year. Not necessarily the best movies of last year, but what I thought was my 10 favorite. So getting back to that, we're on number 5, which was Bring Her Back. That was one I stumbled onto. Like, I often will lay down in the afternoon and just get a little bit of quiet time after I'm done with stuff and then get back to whatever I needed to. But then I got a bunch of kids. So if I get a little hour quiet period where the baby's sleeping and I can put a movie on, it's heaven sent. So I put on Bring Her Back for that. And that movie is crazy. Um, like it made me feel all kinds of ways. Scary, I really once again connected with the characters. Like it was interesting to um, follow the story of these orphaned kids and the woman who gets them and stuff. That I felt like it was very in the same universe as this. Maybe like it deals with these, the tragedy of kids, which is kind of a popular thing over the last few years. It and well, the screen version of it, I should say, and then this and a bunch of other handful of movies. Just there's you can really touch a nerve with missing children, and that's like one of the problems with horror is you got to keep ratcheting up and ratcheting up. So in the 50s, you could do a lot of just like shadows of a knife coming down. And then, nowadays, by the time, up through the 70s, you get Texas Chainsaw. And through the 80s, you get Freddy Krueger slashing with these big knife cuts and blood and everything. And then when CGI came along, you could do anything your imagination could come up with. Um, so this they kind of needed to find something new that would scare people because everything's kind of been done. So the missing children thing is something I think that resonates emotionally with people. Like I'd rather someone like hurt me or try to terrorize me than have anything to do with messing with my kids. So it's from a horror standpoint, it affects people. I don't know how much it affects people who don't have kids, though. I'd be interested to know. Oh, let's see here. Folks dropping in. Nice to see you. I always love when people say hello. Oh, let's see. We got Texas says, don't watch The Assistant. He's great, but the movie is dull. She's great, but the movie's done. I don't know if I saw The Assistant or not. It seems like maybe I did. I don't know. It's late. You're up. Hi. Oh, Mr. Bones. Nice to see you, my friend. Yeah, earlier today, we were talking about the passing of our friend Wes earlier on the show, and Mr. Bones has been a conduit between me and the Ice Lord. So his heart is heavy as well. I know he was going to do a show tonight, but much like me last night when I found out the news, he needed a break to give his mind a little rest. So I thank you for joining us, Bones, and shout out to our buddy Wes. He's a juggernaut. He is bad to the bones. Hi, Bones. Paula's here. Hi, Paula. Welcome. I'm glad to see you here. Paula's super cool. I always like when she pops in. Everybody's saying hi to Paula. Don, your background is rad, by the way. Thank you. You can get yourself some Night Owl Movie Talk merchandise. There's a link in the description, I believe. Not only T-shirts, but blankets and a variety of other things. So rather than try to deal with the green screen, the green screen thing never quite totally works for me. You get the janky things where like an eye disappears or something. So yeah, I like that banner back there. So back with this movie, we see Josh Brolin now like kind of stalking the Julia Garner character, and we do that Pulp Fiction thing I talk about, where we jump back to scenes we already saw, and we sort of sit back and watch them from someone new's angle. This time it's Josh Brolin, whose son went disappeared in that group of kids that went missing. So he's sort of stalking her, trying to figure out like what's up with this lady, gather intel on her. Like I said, everybody's kind of convinced she must have had something to do with it. Let's see here. Speaking of something to do, let's make sure we're getting on to my top 10 best movies of the year. Uh, Bring Her Back was number 5. Like I say, that one's a scary, creepy, just lots of gore and horror. Several times, Mrs. Night Owl squeezed the hell out of my arm. She was terrified. So I recommend Bring Her Back a lot. Number 4, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Um, that one, it's kind of weird. It's the modern way of doing movies. They release it to Netflix, but it has to have a theatrical run to get any sort of awards, thing. So it was in the theater for like 2 weeks, whether it made all the money in the world or not. And then it comes to Netflix, and I watched it, I don't know, Christmas time, around Christmas time, something like that. and just beautiful. It looks like an old, classic Oscar bait movie. Perfect cinematography, costumes, all of it. Um, uh, Nosferatu was out recently, and I wasn't as enchanted with that. And everything that Nosferatu I thought was trying to accomplish, I thought Frankenstein did a better job of. I'll be curious to see if this Frankenstein they have um, a Bride of Frankenstein follow up, or a Son of Frankenstein, or Frankenstein meets Abbott and Costello. I don't know who's the modern day Abbott and Costello. Kevin Hart and The Rock. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I dug it. Sorry, now here's we're seeing the Josh Brolin's retracing his son's steps. He's been looking at like those Ring cameras and stuff, and he sees that the kids who all ran away at 2:17 in the morning all ran out of their house, like straight out of their bed, and just ran like they call it like airplanes, like Spitfires, with their arms back, just like guided missiles is later on what they call it in the movie. Like, someone put a trajectory on them and sent them away. Here's the only weird ass. Brolin's doing the thing. He follows the kid to the creepy house. He sees the kid running like a jet, and then he goes to the outside of the house and he looks up and there's a big machine gun in the sky, and then the big M16 or whatever, and then the barrel of the gun has 2:17 a.m. like a digital clock. So we kind of realize he's got like a dream sequence thing, but like that shot of the machine gun, it only reinforces the weapons concept, the weaponizing our children sort of thing. Uh, but yeah, Guillermo del Toro, I'm a fan of anything he does. The dude's just a master. He makes old school movies. He's one of the few people who does CGI right. He's the king of telling you a monster story that touches your heart. The Shape of Water was just amazing. It's a why don't I make a modern day Creature from the Black Lagoon movie? What? Sure enough, awesome. So yeah, that was my number four. I think looking down the road, 10 years from now, I'll think back to Del Toro's Frankenstein. I don't know how much I'll watch it. It's such a big, epic movie. Like it's not just a man in a castle making a monster and overacting. Like this goes all over the place. It's an adventure. So I definitely recommend Frankenstein. I'm sure it'll probably win costumes and possibly makeup at the Academy Awards, but I don't know about much more than that. Oh, let's see here. Oh, we see some more people popping in here. Um, oh my goodness, all sorts of folks saying hi. There's Paula. Thank you. Oh, and Karen, thank you for the background comment. That was very sweet of you. Uh, Annette is here. Hello, Annette. How are you and Jack? Glad to see you. Welcome, welcome. Carrie Crave Cinema. Hey, long time no talkie. The aforementioned Carrie. I had just shouted out earlier, Carrie, about you and May watching The Bride of Chucky this Friday. So you were already mentioned before you even got here. Hello, ladies coming through the door, right? It's a spot to be. Okay, I need some Night Owl merch. Thank you. I appreciate that. All sorts of t-shirts. Actually, I got some new designs coming. That was one of the things I worked on over my little break there. So always check the Night Owl's site and see what you can find. Get yourself a coffee cup or some socks. Um, Man says Bring Her Back is amazing. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It made me whoa. There was the dream sequence where he leans over in bed and the weird Amy Madigan witch is in bed with him. Scares the hell out of him. She's awesome in this. Haven't seen Bring Her Back, but looks scurry. Yeah, I recommend it, Bones. Lots of just the gore is really it makes you feel pain when you watch it, and there's just like you feel for these like orphaned children. It's so sad, and the horror on top of the emotions just really like resonates. It's a well made movie. I like Talk to Me, but um, I don't know if I saw Talk. Oh, I did see Talk to Me. That's the monkey paw. Yeah, it was all right. It was all right. It felt like it was part of just that type of like 2010s movies. Not quite as good as like uh, 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 It Follows. Like it's that type of movie, like lots of just modern teenagers and their little weird, oh my God, what are we gonna do type thing. They're all derivatives of Final Destination. But yeah, Talk to Me was all right. Let's watch it, Bones. Hi Nanny Carrie, glad you guys are doing well. Bones. Cinderella says, Bones, you will absolutely love Dolly. I need to check out Dolly. Don, have you seen the trailer for Dolly? It looks like a good slasher. I saw posters for it, but I haven't seen trailers yet. Part of this poster game I've been on is I bump into all the new marketing for posters, but trailers only when they go by my YouTube feed. That's how I saw Lanterns. Um, yeah, the poster looked intriguing to me. I'm interested in any new cool slasher, see where the things are going in that direction. Um, but yeah, if Mayan says that you'll love it, then I'd probably be interested in checking it out. Um, the trailer reminds him of The Hills Run Red, which have you seen that? Yeah, I did see that. I watched it with you. Um, oh man, folks are saying hello to each other. It's so good, Bones. I almost puked during the scene, but wow, I loved it. That's the best review any horror movie could get. Texas says, "Is God is looks really good. Is God is? I'm not familiar with Is God is. I need to check that out. I always trust Texas. He and I have very similar indie punk sensibilities. So usually when he likes some wild stuff, I'm with him. Don throws the late night parties. I try. It's been too long since I've been here. Like I said, I finally got past that 1,000 milestone, and then the holidays hit. So between that, I just got kind of caught up in doing stuff. And then every time I wanted to get a show going, I either had something happen or, like yesterday when I found out the news about Wes, I was like, all right, I'm not really in the mood to watch Dog Soldiers right now. So I still owe you guys Dog Soldiers. Is the point of that story. Yes, Watch Party Friday. I was summoned. I'll be in there. Let me see here. I'm not sure what to talk about now. I'm feeling every time I do, I get emotional down, but thank you for asking. Well, thank you. I'm glad you thank you for sharing. And Nan, it's a lot of us feel like that, weird emotions and stuff. Um, Here's Justin Long turns up. This is kind of like I mentioned, he was sort of the surprise turn up in Barbarian, the director's previous film. So Justin Long is one of those people, when I think of him, I don't like him. Like I'm like, ah, Justin Long. Because for a while there in the early thousands or mid thousands, I should say, he was in every movie. Like no matter what. Like I worked at video stores back then, and just like 2/3 of the new release wall would have freaking Justin Long in it. It's like he's in Die Hard, he's in this National Lampoon's movie, he's in. It's like you are everywhere. He's every boyfriend in every movie starring a woman. It's like, oh, let me guess, your boyfriend's Justin Long. So I got burnt out on him, too exposed. And then he disappeared for a minute, and now he turns up in like cool, interesting horror movies. Like Tusk was fun. um, he turns up in this Barbarian. What's the It's a Wonderful Knife? I think he's like the weird, kooky mayor with like the crazy fake teeth and everything. So Justin Long has turned me around. I've had similar experiences with other actors. Like I remember Brad Pitt always hating and being like, "This dude is just the worst. He's like nothing but a pretty boy." Like his whole aura is just Legends of the Fall with the big hair. And then after a while, it's like, no, he's in Seven, he's in Fight Club, he's in True Romance, he's in Ocean's 11, he's in California. I was like, all right, I got to give it up. I like Brad Pitt. So long way of saying, shout out to Justin Long. You have earned my respect. You are the Kobe Bryant of movies. Hey, I have Cheetah Will View. Hoot hoot. Nice to see you, my friend. Welcome, Patrick. Can't wait to watch Carrie. It will be a fun time. Yeah, I know. When I saw that go by in the post feed today, I got excited already. I was like, yeah. And speaking of yeah, welcome, my friend Patrick. Good to see you, buddy. I get the chance to watch a lot of YouTube, but I don't ever get a chance to leave comments or uh, chat messages while the live chat's going on because a lot of times I got the kids crawling on me and they all want to like tell them I said. So here's the scene I was talking about earlier. She's at the gas station pumping gas, and Brolin comes up to her and starts talking to her. And then the boss, the one with the cool chubby cheeks, comes running at her in that missile position with the arms out, like the thumbnail for the movie, for this stream. And he's got these insane bulged out eyes. Like, I don't know what's going on with him, but he's covered in blood and he's just like a terrifying image, even though it's not supernatural. It looks like someone who's really just geeked out and bloody. And yeah, it looks like the beginning of a zombie movie or something. He's totally nuts. But this is where the horror ratchets up. The first, we've been here for almost an hour now, and it's just been real slow going. Like it's a build of these characters and who they are, and then this is like the first terror. That's straight up almost near. Where Evil Lurks, When Evil Lurks. Back to the chat, say hello, and then I'm going to get back to this top 10 films of the year. Man says Bride of Chucky is a masterpiece. I had to guess. I would think you would say that if I had to guess. I know, especially now, they're like I said, this movie's done in chapters. I often compare those to Pulp Fiction. When the movie stops and it gives you a title card, and then we start a new chapter, but then we see other stuff going on before and it overlaps. It's like, oh, yeah, this is Pulp Fiction. But here we're now with the cop. We're with Paul, with old buddy Alden Ehrenreich. I never get his name right. He's young Han Solo. That's what he'll always be, even with these chubby cop cheeks. So what movies that Justin Long is in that do you do like, Dom? Yeah, well, those three that I mentioned, and then he does a lot of cameo stuff now. Like I never dug when he was above the title star. Like they tried to make him that for a while. They wanted to make him be like the next Tom Hanks or something, and I never bought him as that. But Drag Me to Hell. There's another one where it's like he just turns up for his little part. He does all he needs to be, and he gets credit for being in an awesome movie without stealing everything. But I think there's one called like Accepted, something like that. It's just like a teen college movie about him getting accepted to college. I remember that one was on cable all the time. I would see it. He just was in so much stuff in the early thousands going into the teens that it was like I'm burnt out on Justin Long. But then, like I say, he won me back over with his horror resume. Tusk. Tusk is a masterpiece. That's the only one he's allowed to be a main star of because he's got a real douchebaggy way about him at that point. That's when I was getting sick of him. So to see him turned into a walrus was perfect. Carrie says Tiffany is his girl, or is her girl, just as long as a Scream King, right? That's kind of what I mean. He found his niche in horror. Um, Ben Grimm says, I like dodgeball. Okay, there's one where he is good. And welcome, Ben Grimm. Well, nice to see you, buddy. I always appreciate when Ben's here. Very knowledgeable, smart dude. Late night movie fanatic as am I. Everybody loves Tiff. He likes Galaxy Quest. Yeah, to me, Galaxy Quest is more. That's one where he's in it, but I always forget he's in it. Like that's the weird less than. Like I say, his sweet spot seems to be where he's like just got his little role and he can kind of chew up the scenery and be Justin Long, or like when he turns up in Drag Me to Hell. Even though that's another one where he's the boyfriend. It's like, damn, every girl in every movie's boyfriend is Justin Long. So here's the cool part though, where we see the cop that that she's been having the affair with. He sees that junkie bum kid from the liquor store, and we see their stories and they interconnect. So most of the Prime's characters in the story have now kind of been revealed and who they are and their connections. But it gets good when we get to the witch. Amy Madigan's character just steals the movie. That's the one you're going to see like Halloween costumes of and stuff. Um, and Sasquatch Gang. Oh my God, I never laughed so hard in my life. I never saw Sasquatch Gang. I'd be interested in that. Let me know in the chat or the comments later on. Justin Long, pro or con? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Like I say, I'm back on board with him. For a while there, I wasn't. He was a teen actor, and he always played like just kind of the okay teen. And then he's okay in Waiting. You ever seen Waiting? That's kind of a sleeper comedy hit deal. Um, him and Ryan Reynolds. Uh, but yeah, overall, it just for a while he was just too overexposed. I think he built his filmography too fast for me. So now that I can appreciate him in small doses, he's just right. So shout out to Justin Long. Justin Long and It's a Wonderful Life, even though his accent is yeah. It's a Wonderful Life. He's fun because he gets to chew up the scenery. He's got the big ridiculous outfit and everything. I do not like that movie. I'm talking about Tusk. Oh yeah, Tusk is that's my cousin showed it to my niece because he wanted her to be afraid to talk to strangers. It's like strangers are going to kidnap you and turn you into a walrus. Um, Tusk was fun because I used to listen to Kevin Smith's podcasts all the time. I used to be a big Kevin Smith mark, and one of the podcasts they were reading, strange stories from around the globe or whatever, and they bumped into this one about a guy looking for another guy to move into his house, and the two dudes on the show, Kevin Smith and I think it was Scott Mosier, start going off about this whole thing where he's going to turn him into a walrus and make him wear a walrus outfit and stuff. And then like 2 years later, it becomes a movie. So it was weird to just see like these two dudes just being silly, and then later on, it becomes like a major motion picture. I actually kind of enjoy Tusk. I like Tusk more than Red State as far as Kevin Smith's later stuff. Amy Madigan got an award for a reason for this movie. Yeah, I loved her in this. When she first turned up, I didn't know who she was. She was in such good makeup and everything. Uh, and that hair, the crazy bangs and the wild teeth and all of it. There's a theory, that she's a witch, and then that outfit of hers is like to kind of cover up her being, so old and decayed, and she has to wear, some sort of something to cover herself up, but she doesn't go out much, so that's, she doesn't know how to dress. There's a whole other theory that she's actually like a demon, and that's her way of presenting herself as a human, but she doesn't quite understand humans. That's why she looks sort of off. So either way, I prefer her more as a witch, and then she's got kind of the classic like mad scientist thing where she creates a monster, and at the end she's killed by her own monster, or her evil creation. So I prefer that interpretation. But yeah, she steals the show. I'll talk a little bit about Amy Madigan when she shows up later. Justin Long is a growing horror actor, right? Yeah, he's gotten. That's what I mean. He's really found a good lane to be in. He found a crowd that accepts him. And I always say it's a smart business move for anybody to any actor try to get in horror or sci-fi franchises, because then you can go to conventions if your career ever dries up. There's always room for, oh, this person's been in nine big things, Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, and you know, um, how many people now can add like aliens and things to their little horror con, banner that they hang up. So it's a smart move to always get in the horror or sci-fi lane, fantasy adventure, because you can do comic cons and things. There's no money in these boring Shakespearean ripoffs. Let's see here. Nanette says she's not a fan of Kevin Smith either. The only one movie that he's in that I like. Um, I really enjoyed Clerks when it first came out. I thought it was good. I learned a lot. Well, we'll watch Clerks sometime on the channel and talk about all that Clerks is. But Chasing Amy is fantastic. I enjoy Mallrats, but it's a goofy, silly fart movie. Let me see here. Chinese and Uncle Buck. Cheetah is not a Kevin Smith fan. You're not a Kevin Smith fan, really? See, he was one of the. It's weird. Kevin Smith's amateurish style is actually what made me want to become a filmmaker. Like I learned about this young dude who wasn't. I think he's a year or two older than me, and he'd already, he made Clerks, and it was blew up in all these independent, festivals. It was doing good, and it got bought by Miramax and all this stuff. So that was like one of the first times I thought about trying to make something. So it's weird. Like I admire him and I respect him, and like follow his path, but at the same time, and it's that he's not so great. Like I could never do what Spielberg or Martin Scorsese does, but I think you could pick up a camera and make your own Clerks. You just have to do a really good job and it'll be entertaining. You if you have never made a movie before, but you love movies, you could probably make a movie like Reservoir Dogs if you knew how to really write movies and tell stories and stuff. But things like a James Cameron movie, your average person can't make an Avatar. They just don't have the budget. Um, Amy Madigan has been married to Ed Harris for like 40 years, I think. Really, I didn't know she was married to Ed Harris. Another awesome actor. Mm. Yeah, I remember Amy Madigan. The first time I think I really became familiar with her was what's it called? Streets of Fire, I think it is. It's like a Michael Pere and it's a whole Rick Moranis. It's like a rock and roll fairy tale or something like that they call it. And it's some thug has to escort a big pop star out of bad part of town, and it's kind of like a Judgment Night type story, warriors, whatever, like they're trying to escape all the thugs trying to catch up with them. And she's in that. She plays like the tomboy best friend of the main guy, who you're like, oh, she should get, dude should get with her. She's fun. I like her. Instead, of course, he has to get with oh God, who is it that plays it? What's her name? Damn it. I'm trying to blank on it. The lady who was just in House of Cards. Forget it. Not important. But yeah, I recommend that. I think it's called what? Streets of Fire? I think that's what it's called. Um, Don, you did a great review of Clerks. That's the first movie I saw here. It's like, well, thank you, Carrie. That is very sweet of you. I only like Dogma. Yeah, yeah, Dogma's fun. Dogma I was a little let down by, strangely, because I had just come off of Chasing Amy, and that one really, like, that's another one where you don't have to be talented at filmmaker wise. Like, you don't have to really be good at cameras and editing and stuff to tell a story like Chasing Amy. You just have to kind of think about people and their relationships and how they love and what love means to them and stuff. And if you can craft that into some sort of interesting story, it doesn't matter if you can do the James Cameron camera work or whatever. So now, like I said, the story been bouncing around, and we're off of the cop, and now we're off to this junkie, and he's got the same shtick as the street bum in, is it called Locked? I think um it was a movie I watched recently about a guy who gets locked in a car. He's like a total street bum loser, and Anthony Hopkins is in it. It's classic. But it's almost the same exact character. It's like, I think I've seen you in a different movie like a day earlier. But once again, we're getting the thing where we see now this guy's point of view, and we'll see him bump into the different characters in the movie and how they interact and how their lives intertwine. But the main one that we're waiting for at this point is just straight up Amy Madigan's witch. I like Kevin Smith and Dogma in his spoken word films, but Paladin walks out every time I put him on. Sort of weird. Yeah, An Evening with Kevin Smith, I enjoyed a lot. I thought that was a fun, good movie. It's really interesting to hear somebody be so honest about Hollywood. A lot of times people don't get to gossip so freely the way he did. And I admire, that's another thing I admire about him. Like I say, he's not that talented, but I admire Smith's ability to just do what he wants. He wanted to be a radio guy, so he made his own radio station. He wanted to own a movie theater, so he owns a movie theater. He wanted to own a comic book shop, so he has a chain of comic book shops. I always admire folks who chase their passions and succeed in it. Um, well, at least their best to succeed, you know. Um, he's talking about his cat, man. Yeah, Paladin. He's never seen Paladin. um, he knows that. Oh, so you've never seen the cat? Let's see here. Hey, man, not a huge Madigan fan, but love Harris. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. What else has Madigan been in? Let's let me refresh this page. I can't believe I didn't get my little pop up. What the hell, bro? Hmm. And it's funny, Amy Madigan gets top billing when you Google weapons. Amy Madigan's best known for the aforementioned Uncle Buck, as I believe Carrie mentioned. Field of Dreams. I forgot she's the wife in Field of Dreams. Streets of Fire, the one I was talking about from '84. Diane Lane, that's her name. I couldn't think of the old girl's name. The Hunt. She's in The Hunt. I forgot. Oh yeah, she is in The Hunt. She's the lady who runs the gas station. I've seen The Hunt a bunch of times. Good movie. I'm gonna turn this off because folks always love when I look at people's filmographies. That's everybody's favorite part. Um. So, anyways, I should probably get back to my top 10 best movies of the year. Dun dun dun. Uh, Number five was we'll go back. 10 was Naked Gun slash The Long Walk. 9 was Companion. 8 was Superman. 7 was Sinners. 6 was Begonia. 5 was Bring Her Back. 4 was Frankenstein. And now we're in the top three. Uh, this one's controversial. Out of everything I picked, this is the one where people are like, no way, dude. Number 3, K-pop Demon Hunters. I know. I know. I can't believe I said it either. It kind of hurts me that I said it, but it's honest. That shit, my kids watched it. So I would hear the music as I was like doing stuff around the house. It's catchy, whatever. Then I hear the music on the damn radio in the car. And then I hear it at the grocery store. And then I hear it at the gas station. So, a movie with a soundtrack that big, I mean, Purple Rain and, shit like that. Like, that's like the level we're talking about with K pop Demon Hunters just being everywhere. Golden, they played on the football games. People score a touchdown, they play Golden. So I think if you look forward 10, 15 years out of the movies that will stand the test of time and folks will still give any consideration to from 2025, K-pop Demon Hunters has to be. They released it in the theaters for one weekend because it was just supposed to be like a Netflix deal. And it was in the theater for one weekend. It made whatever, $60 million dollars or whatever. So people at Halloween were dressed up like it. I've been to 3 K-pop Demon Hunters birthday parties. So yeah, out of all of them, I think that one's just going to stand the test of time, at least as far as the soundtrack and all of it. So we'll keep going, but yeah, I can't believe it either. I liked K-pop Demon Hunters more than Sinners. Um, and number two, and we know what number one is because we're watching it. So number two is One Battle After Another. A lot of folks divisive. One Battle After Another. It's a lot of folks didn't like it, found it kind of pretentious and weird and all over the place. A lot of not hateful, but angry. It's a movie that doesn't feel like happy. A lot of sadness going on in it, but it's um, to be frank, what it really is the scene in The Big Lebowski where Big Lebowski or the dude is laying in bed with Maud, and he explains to him like his backstory. It's like, oh, I was a roadie for Metallica, and I was part of the Seattle Seven or whatever. That was me plus 6 other guys. That whole thing. I'm pretty sure One Battle After Another is just that story turned into a big movie. And Leonardo DiCaprio basically plays the dude in it. Like he's, just this burnt out, fried stoner thrown into this just in crazy, like, CIA government secret conspiracy plot thing. And he's just fried out of his damn mind. And then there's, I don't know, a lot of the characters aren't likable. Is probably the biggest problem with One Battle After Another. It was directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, Magnolia and Boogie Nights and et cetera, et cetera. There Will Be Blood. That's all you need to know right there. If you like There Will Be Blood, this is probably your type of movie. But yeah, I thought One Battle After Another was definitely one I'll remember and talk about. I even now, sometimes I'll see some person walking around, I'll be like, oh, look, it's Jungle Pussy. So, uh, I recommend it. Sean Penn, this might be his last hurrah as far as winning any kind of awards. It might be his last great performance. I don't know. Sean Penn's probably got a few good years left in him, but he does fantastic in it. Um, all of the cast itself, Benicio del Toro just like kind of stole that movie. Like he needs his own spin-off movie. So yeah, I recommend One Battle After Another. Like I said, then my favorite movie of the year was this. I thought it was the most interesting. It's the one I'm most likely to rewatch. This Weapons just feels like a good, almost Halloween time movie. Speaking of times, it's 2:11. Let me double check the clock. 2:11. So that means in 6 minutes we will hit the magical 2:17 time in the movie where the kids go missing. And speaking of the kids going missing, the sort of Jay and Silent Bob inspired junkie from the liquor store earlier, the sort of street bum panhandler guy, he goes into this house to break in and rob the place, and he opens up the basement or the door to the basement and goes down there and finds the missing children. So we just see their eyes in the dark, and it's like super creepy. But this is when the climax really starts to build to itself. We are at the oh boy, 1 hour 6 minutes mark. There's an hour left. So the last back half of the movie, much like Barbarian. Barbarian was fascinating. It starts off one movie, and then the second half of the movie is just almost completely different, even though it feels of the same tone. That's how this is. The first start of the movie up until this point, this first hour, the midway point, it's it's a lot of emotions and a few scares here and there. And then the second half, we really start digging in more to this creepy ass witch and Amy Madigan's character and her chewing up the screen. Penn will win the Oscar. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I've seen K-pop Demon Hunters. It's that's everybody has. You've heard it even if you haven't seen it. And Cinderella says, "Jungle what?" Right? That's what I'm saying. Once you've seen Jungle Pussy, you're a different person. Um, let me see here. My favorite 25 movie is House on Eden, but I've only seen three movies from last year. Yeah, I kind of talked about that earlier. I always think of me, I love watching my old stuff. I'd much rather watch Conan the Barbarian than almost any new movie. You know, I'd much rather watch Monster Squad than Stranger Things. Um, that's close. It's a tie. I like Stranger Things. Um, but when I went through and kind of just marked down every time I would watch a movie last year, I would try to remember to rate it, so I would keep track of what was going on. And like I said, I ended up watching 45, 50 movies from last year, so that's a lot. Saw pretty much everything I wanted to. The only thing from last year I still haven't seen that I need to is Spinal Tap 2, um, which is my fault. It's been on HBO forever, and it's one of those I just haven't had a chance to throw on. But I'm interested for sure. But I doubt it would have been one of my top 10 movies of the year. So still need to see Spinal Tap 2 and need to give Predator Badlands a better chance. I've watched it twice, but I've fallen asleep twice. um, I didn't know it was going to be all subtitles, man. I was thrown off. But that first like half hour, that movie does Star Trek and Star Wars better than Star Trek and Star Wars. Like the Predators battling each other is some total Klingon stuff. The whole laser sword stuff is just Star Wars stuff. That movie action packed and crazy, but yeah, too much subtitles for an afternoon movie. It made me fall asleep. So we're back with old panhandler buddy, and we see he's living in a tent out in the woods. Uh, and while he's walking home, he notices the crazy Amy Madigan witch lady out there with the wild redhead bangs and the octagon glasses, looking like every lady who ever worked in the office at a school ever. No, I can't say that. The ladies who work at my kid's school office are nice, and they might watch this, so I don't want to get in trouble. Um, what about you guys? What if anybody's still left watching? What was your favorite movie of last year, or yeah, your favorite, not the best? Like I said, there's arguments over technical achievements and breakout performances, or like this. This is clearly a breakout performance by a director. Um, that's why it's getting so much praise. Is people really like Zach Cregger, and they're trying to make him a thing, and this is his big second movie, and this is where you get your blow up. Um, so yeah, let me know what you like. Nanette said what? Something House of Eden? Yeah, House on Eden. Don't think I saw it. Weapons is over 2 hours? Yeah, I was surprised too. It didn't need to be over 2 hours. I think you could tell the story shorter. But like I said, this is the beauty of this is much like Barbarian, where it is almost like two movies. There's the first half and the second half, and there feels almost the tone shift. Um, let's see. I ordered my Nairo official merch. Can't wait to get it. Thank you so much, Karen. If you'd like to get some merch, the link is in the description. Like I say, all sorts of t-shirts and coffee mugs and socks and what have you. But I appreciate all of my friends who've supported me and continue to support the channel and the awesome people I've met here. That's why I mean the whole situation with so many couple of friends passing that has really left me appreciating the folks that I've built these relationships with here so much. Let's see here. Owls sleep in the day, Don. Yeah, that's the truth. Because in the afternoon, the sun just the a whole period of time of being out in the sun just makes me exhausted. I need to catch an afternoon nap. That's when I watch a lot of stuff. With my ass off. Let me see. I'll be supported in a future video. Yes, please. Thank you. Mrs. Nightall brought me a beer. That's a good woman right there. I appreciate it. Thank you, love. Oh, let's see here. Have you ever seen Now and Then Man? No, I have not. Weapons, Black Phone. Yes, I have. Mrs. Night Owl, did you like Weapons? She says she did. So she's a big fan of the ending, and I think that's the like I say that this movie really the second half is its own thing. So when the whole story builds up and you get that ending, it feels very cathartic. All right, that's I agree. She said she was a big fan of the ending. So thank you for joining us, love. Ah, my baby's still awake, you guys. Uh, and coming up, I got a new one. Got a hot new baby dropping this April. Supposed delivery date or the due date of Lily Nichols will be here on 420. I don't know. She's kicking around in there a lot. I think she's going to come earlier. But yeah, Mrs. Night Owl, as Mayan just said, she's a keeper. Yes, she is. She got up from taking care of the baby while pregnant to give me a beer. That's a good woman for no reason. She's just wonderful. Yeah. Okay, good movie. I asked you about the reason I'm asking about you. It's Indian Summer. It's like now, and it's about these kids when they were 13. They grow up at summer camp, and I go back when Indian Summer. I do remember that. It's kind of like the Big Chill kind of a deal. It's like a grown-ups get together and discuss whatever. But they show these kids when they're growing up or whatever at the summer camp thing or whatever. I barely remember it. That was one. That's the type of movie I only watch once or twice. Stand by Me is the only exception of that type of movie that I've seen a bunch. Oh, new Baby Owl. Yeah, yeah, I know. I'm excited to drop it in April. So poor Mrs. Night Owl's in there taking care of the baby and little Miss Mia, and then little Lily will be here during the summer. So hopefully the Nichols sisters will just dominate basketball. That's what I'm hoping for. Or maybe they'll be the next great directing team. So here's where we get our first look at Amy Madigan, and she is everybody's creepy aunt. Her makeup's all messed up, and she's got this wild ass forehead. Just seeing this principal meet her, and he's like, "Hi, okay, I didn't know you were gonna look like that." And she's got the micro bangs. I try not to be judgmental of anybody, but fellas, micro bangs are a red flag. I understand, sometimes they frame the face just right. They give you that quirky Zoe Deschanel thing or whatever. But yeah, this crazy 70-year-old lady with Joker makeup and the micro bang, she looks extra insane. Mrs. Night Owl is absolutely gorgeous. Congrats, you guys. Oh, thank you. I love my woman. It took me a long time. I thought I was going to be single for the rest of my life, and I certainly wasn't planning on having kids. And I got to a certain age where I just completely written that off, and I met someone who lined up with me perfect on every front. She's quite the woman. I'm very lucky to have found her, and I'm also very lucky for the kids that are in my life now and all of that. You're not gonna drop it, Mrs. Night Owl. um, they're both very different. Patrick, love both. I liked Monkey. I didn't watch Keeper yet. It looks weird. Monkey's good. What was Keeper? I didn't watch Keeper yet. I don't know if I saw Keeper. Happy for you, Don. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited as well. Um, as you know, having the two little girls, it's going to be an adventure watching the two of them bounce around each other, being so close in age. We wonder how the 1-year-old is going to act when the new baby shows up. Speaking of crazy things going on, I should probably talk about this movie. So here's where the kid, one of the kids who went missing, they tried to call the parents in, they couldn't get a hold of them, so they ended up the aunt comes in or whatever, and she's just nuts. It took me a long time to figure out who that was. Like I could tell it was someone I knew underneath all that makeup. I just couldn't figure it out. It was like with Colin Farrell's Penguin. Like you see the penguin, and it's like, okay, that's someone under some sort of prosthetics. I just don't know who it is. And that's kind of how this Amy Madigan thing was. It's like after you know it's her, you're like, oh yeah, I see her now. But and here's this whole thing where we learn about her ability to control people and um so this sorry, first we have to have a drop off at home real quick to see the principal and his husband together and they're eating their little hot dogs watching football and stuff. And then 2 seconds later, he's gonna be chasing down poor Ruth in the gas station parking lot. There's two people here on YouTube. Their names on YouTube are Call Me Chris and Selena Spooky Boo, and they made a found footage movie as a version of themselves, and it's called House of Eden. Don, I was not aware of that. I always want to check out stuff by YouTubers for some reason. I always feel like sort of a connection. We're all YouTubers. It's interesting to see what my people are doing. Um, I need to check out what's it called, Shelby Oaks, the one from oh God, what's the dude's name? Stuckman. Chris Stuckman. Shelby Oaks, I need to see that. And then also, doesn't Markiplier have a movie out right now? Some sort of sci-fi something or other. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I always feel like the support for the community. I always try to check out YouTuber movies. Karen says she enjoyed Keeper. Yeah, I need to check out Keeper. Now that I think about it, I do remember seeing it bouncing around, but I haven't gotten to it. The Penguin is top tier. Yeah, I love the Penguin. I thought it was fantastic. Weapons does have some big names in it. Yeah, originally, during the first casting, I read through the people who were supposed to be in it, and I'd never heard of any of them. I'm bad with new actors, admittedly. Like I recognize faces of a lot of these newer actors, but I usually only know my classic ones or people who've been around for a minute and established themselves as like a big household name. But I didn't recognize any of the names they originally wanted to be in this. And then they kind of recast everything. Brolin wasn't supposed to be in here. Julia Garner, I don't think, was in here at first. Um, can't even remember. I think Amy Madigan was maybe even an add on later. She makes polyester terrifying. Like, it's just, I don't know. She looks itchy, and it makes me itchy. uh, The movie is on AMC Plus and Shutter. Okay, I have that. I enjoy that service. That's where my Joe Bob is. Uh, Speaking of Joe Bob Briggs, I put together a bunch of new playlists. They're on the homepage of my channel of famous film reviewers and folks of the such. A bunch of old Siskel and Eberts, a bunch of old Joe Bob Briggs, Elvira, Zachary. You friends with Zachary? That's an old school one. Some Mystery Science Theaters and stuff. So be sure to check out the Night Owl homepage on YouTube. Always fun stuff going on there. Speaking of fun stuff that's been going on, is the famous Monsters of Filmland. I've been doing a series of shorts of all the old covers in sequence of famous Monsters of Filmland. I do them like with the sound effect for each one, so they kind of come to life a little bit. They've been getting good support. Like they haven't been getting a lot of views, but the turnover rate for subscribers has been ridiculous. So, out of 100 views, you'll get like 4 subscribers. So shout out to any of the folks who are here from the famous Monsters of Filmland shorts. I appreciate you guys checking those out. They're sort of a hybrid of my movie poster shorts and my Mars Attack shorts. So now here we see her witch stuff, and this I find fascinating. This is not since like oh god, what's it called? Hereditary. Did I get kind of this feeling of a creepy new age horror? Watching her cut off this dude's hair and then wrap it around the thorn and then snap the thorn and the dude becomes, that's classic old school witchcraft nonsense. Eye of Newt and light a candle over an egg or whatever the hell. So just the cutting the lock of hair off, wrapping around the black thorn, and then dropping it in water to make it stop and stuff. That's all awesome. I applaud all of it. She makes hair look terrifying too, right? Microbang, scary. I saw it in the theater, Shelby Oaks. It's interesting. Would love to hear what you think, Don. It was a good watch, but I don't know if I loved it. Is that another one with kids? Or something to do with missing kids? Like I say, that's the new horror du jour because they know that it affects people and it affects people. Um, yeah, so I'd be interested in seeing Shelby Oaks. I'm sure it'll be around Shutter or somebody will pick it up. I think it was on Screenbox, maybe. So now we see she takes the hair off the thorn and she um pulls out a piece of Julia Garner's hair and wraps it around it and then breaks it. And we see old buddy just run off. So that's the build up to where he attacks her at the gas station. So they're telling the intertwining stories. And if you're following along, you see how it all is, one story. Like I said, it's basically the Tarantino timeline, except it's done fun and interesting. And the horror evolves and is doled out at a right pace. The horror beats, the music of it. It'll be something scary, and then it kind of chills out, and then it gives us time to be scary again, and then it chills out, then scary. So here's old buddy with the bulging eyes running like a missile at Julia Garner at the gas station. If I was walking down the street and I saw this dude, I would go home. No matter what was on my agenda for that day, I was like, yeah, it's not a good day to be out and about. That was awesome. They do kind of the point of view of the bulging eye guy, Paul. No, Paul's the cop. Uh, they do like the point of view, and you can see they must have ran with like a steady cam or something, or maybe they did it with a drone. And it's just this sort of point of view push in shot of her at the gas station, and the look of just what the hell is that? To oh my god, good acting. It's funny for all the uh, press and notoriety that this movie's gotten, the awards and stuff. Julia Garner's kind of the one that really didn't get a lot of love for it. Um, the director, uh, Brolin a little bit. Um, Jesus, that woman can scream, right? That's what I mean. I think she's found a good lane to get into horror. Because she does scare there real well. Like the dude's chasing her, and she runs into the liquor store, and he's getting ready to get her, and she's got like the most believable, terrified face. Um, she was also in The Wolfman, the reboot, Redux, the reboot of The Wolfman. Not to be confused with the Benicio del Toro reboot of The Wolfman. Um, but in that one, I didn't like it as much. It was okay. Um, they kind of use the werewolf metaphor for like hereditary family dysfunction and violence, like passing on the curse of the werewolf is like the same as passing on like the curse of anger and thing. So they kind of get a little too deep to have an enjoyable werewolf movie. Uh, the stuff with the werewolf vision in that I thought was really good. Um, and it's a decent companion piece to go with Blumhouse's Invisible Man. But other than that, yeah, Julia Garner just I don't know. She didn't do as good a job in that as she does in this. Like this, she really feels like a big actress. Like her name deserves to be right underneath the title or above the title. Mm. Bone says everyone hates Wolfman, but I liked it. Yeah, I mean, you know me, I'm a Wolfman connoisseur, werewolf connoisseur, man. I watch so many of them damn things. Um, so it wasn't bad. It didn't drag as much as a lot of werewolf movies do. Um, but the whole thing with like her being a writer and them having marital problems and da da da, it felt a lot of like just hanging out with your bickering friends. Like, oh, I got to go on my vacation with a couple who's getting ready to get a divorce. Um, but I thought the stuff in the woods, the werewolf always works in the woods better than the city, I think. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed it enough. I don't know how much I'll ever watch it again. It's probably like Invisible Man. It's got one or two more viewings in my life. I'll be desperate for something to watch at Halloween time. I'm like, oh, I haven't seen this in a minute. Let's watch it and see if I like it better this time. I don't know. Julia Garner right there though. She gets out of the hospital and Brolin picks her up. She looks so young still to be playing the mom role. That was my issue with Wolfman is I didn't buy her as like, wearing the mom jeans and the button up flannel with the turtleneck and stuff. I don't know. It just didn't feel like the character she should be playing yet. It feels like she's maybe got another couple years to do the Supergirl roles or whatever. Um, but I applaud her moving into the mom roles at an earlier age because it'll stretch her career better, especially if she gets that niche. Dee Wallace played moms in movies for like 3 decades. Let's see, where are we at here? Man says she liked the Wolf Man. Um, People were harping on how bad the look of the wolf. I didn't mind it. The look of the wolf and the transformation are often what most people look for in their werewolf movie. That's the big touchstones. It's like, how does the finished wolf product look, and then what does the transformation look like? You know, a movie like The Howling, all these years later, it's just getting by on the transformation. Although I find that transformation to be overrated. I personally like American Werewolf in London's transformation better. But the finished wolves, you know, like what is it? Underworld, I think. You know, they do a lot of once the wolves are moving around and they're fully fleshed out, it's hard to get a good looking werewolf, you know. Um, but I didn't hate on that. That isn't what jumped out at me about it. I just found it to be kind of a somber, you know, lots of I think it was like the second or third werewolf movie I'd watched where like the dysfunction of like family, you know, anger in the father gets passed down to the children, kind of thing, you know, and the werewolf curse is basically just a metaphor for like family dysfunction. So I think at that point it felt a little, you know, redundant, like stuff I had seen before. Um, but in general, yeah, it's one of the better werewolf movies because werewolf movies are usually so bad. Most of them suck. So, you know, it could very well be in my top 10 werewolf movies of all time just because everything else is so awful. Uh, what does man say? Don't put me in that category. I have I have no idea if I like the Wolfman. I haven't seen it Bones and May, so I got to watch it. It's worth seeing. You know, the Wolfman. You know, it's part of the Wolfman lore. You know, if you saw the old Lon Chaney Jr. one, and then you saw some of the Hammer horror stuff, and then the '80s resurgence with Wolfen and Howling and American Werewolf, and then you know, moving on up until now, you know, a lot of it is mediocre at best, other than that Benicio del Toro and um, same with Jack Nicholson's Wolf. You know, Bad Moon has its audience, but there's another Michael Pere for you. How often do I mention two Michael Pere movies in one stream? Unbelievable. So now we're seeing the family. So we the one little boy, the only one that didn't go missing. We see his family, and we're back at his house now, and we see it's a normal house. Like when we find out they get turned into these zombies that are stuck in this chair, and the witch can just make them stab themselves in the face with a fork or whatever, we almost wish that they were jerks. Like such a cruel fate happens to them, we wish they were bad people almost. So when we see their little story, their you know prequel before everything went down story, and we see that they're nice parents and the dad's like a good guy and stuff, it makes it even more painful. Like, oh, I don't want them to get home invaded by the evil witch and her hair wrapped around a thorn thing she does. Man says she loved Frankenstein, and Patrick says he loved Frankenstein. Sing for I. Oh, I Frankenstein. I love that thing. Um, I didn't. I don't think I've seen I Frankenstein actually. Well, that's what Aaron Eckhart, right? I remember when it was out. I don't know if I saw it. Lisa Frankenstein wasn't bad. I watched that one with my friend Lemonia. Lemonia, Demonia. Ah, damn. There we go. Now I miss Wes again. Yeah, it has the chick from Weapons, and I thought it was good. I don't know the werewolf one, yeah. Best werewolf was in Van Helsing. I don't know about that. What's your favorite werewolf from werewolf movies? Um, yeah, I don't know. It's been a minute. The Del Toro one's good. It's all right. The one from Penny Dreadful's not bad. I still might like American Werewolf in London, the old classic, because I like that it turns into like a big like bear wolf looking thing, like walks on all fours. That's a different take. Don, have you seen Werewolves with Frank Grillo? No, actually, that's been on my to-do list. I like the plot of it. Like I haven't watched it, but the idea that some sort of it's basically a zombie movie, except people turn into zombies. They turn into werewolves, and like just the whole cities are overrun by werewolves and shit. So I don't know. It looks like something I would be into. It's one of those I haven't gotten around to. Um, since I often do full moon werewolf movies here on the channel, I'm surprised. I'll probably need to watch it just so I can keep up with content. Best werewolf movie I've seen recently was probably Beasts Within, or what's it called? Like something Snow Hollow, Werewolf of Snow Hollow, something like that. Um, There's both reviews for it on my channel. There's a playlist on my channel called Werewolf Movies, so feel free to go find that. All my playlists are playlists. All my playlists are nicely organized, and you can go find stuff. So just go look for some big picture of a werewolf, and you'll find all you need to know. Yeah, here's the dad and the son, and like I say, the dad's a sweet guy. When he gets turned into the zombie by the witch, it's terrifying. Makes it extra sad. What are some of my favorite werewolf movies? Um, Probably favorite of all time is still American Werewolf in London. Um, there's one called Caged. If you're looking for one nobody ever seen, that was made for like $5, and it's not bad. Um, yeah, Beast Within. Um, oh goodness, what's the one I watched? Our Werewolves Within is the other one I was thinking of that's pretty good. Um, Beast Within. There's two of them. There's one with Jon Snow, Kit Harington, or whatever. That one's mediocre. It's real slow, but the wolf is actually pretty good. Um, the other one is this old one where it feels like a werewolf movie the whole time you're watching it, and then the story evolves and it feels like we're tracking down the backstory of the curse of the werewolf. And to find out it's a locust man, it's not a werewolf, it's a locust. Fucking crazy. Um, what else do I like for werewolf movies? Um, Actually, the scene in Trick or Treat, where the Little Red Riding Hood with Anna Paquin, that's a great werewolf bit of business. The werewolf in I think it's called Waxwork, where they go to the different wax parts of the wax museum, and there's like a werewolf scene in there. That's a pretty good werewolf deal. Um, like I say, I find The Howling to be somewhat overrated. Everybody says like that's the best one and stuff. I watched it recently on the channel. I was kind of let down. When I was a kid, it was much scarier. I'm overdue to go back and watch Wolfen. What's his name? Albert Finney. I need to check that one out. I remember that being scary when I was a kid, and but at a certain point, I don't think I remember watching it that much. So here, the little boy, the only one that didn't disappear in the class, goes home and he's had the talk with his father about how the weird aunt is going to come stay with him because she's got nowhere else to go, and now his parents are just like zombies in the kitchen, just staring off into space. And he meets this crazy. Like I said, I think that's why it reminded me of Bring Her Back. Um, it's the same type of deal with like just these poor kids being thrown into a situation where someone who's awful is now in charge of them. It's a classic old fairy tale shit stuff. Don't make me so vulgar. My kids watch this. Werewolves Within is good. My favorite werewolf movie. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about before. I said The Beast Within. This poor kid, right? I feel terrible for this little kid. Yeah, I was about to ask if you've seen that too, Pat. Yeah, I like Werewolves Within. And like I said, I think it's called The Wolf of Snow Hollow or something. It's a lot like Werewolves Within. It's like a mystery, and we're trying to figure out who the werewolf is. Um, God, I can never remember the one. Patrick always remembers it for me. The werewolf one from the 70s. I think it's called The Beast Must Die, maybe. And it's basically like an Agatha Christie movie where like all these people are invited to a dinner and we have to figure out which one there is the werewolf. Like I like that, when you're telling a story about werewolves, you got to have some sort of framework to hang the story on. And oh no, I'm cursed. Help me get past this curse. Okay, kill me with a silver bullet at the end. That's a lame story. So when you tell these other weird stories like the locust one or the mystery, who is the werewolf, or is the werewolf real or just a hoax by whoever, I find that more interesting. Werewolf of Coming of Age is often pretty popular too. That's a Ginger Snaps. Um, that's probably one of the best werewolf movies too. Ginger Snaps, underrated. Teen Wolf. Teen Wolf is kind of the perfect werewolf story. It's a growing into being a monster. You're a young, naive, stupid child, and now you're this furry brute. One day you look in the mirror and there's just hair. Like, oh boy. So I find Teen Wolf to be fun. I still need to see the old school one with Michael Landon. Was it I Was a Teenage Werewolf or whatever? I was there too, Don. Came in the middle and we had to sell you on it. Yeah, I do remember that. We're talking about the Lisa Frankenstein. Mr. Bones says roll out as a tribute to our friend Wes. Yeah. Wes is in the MH and the Boneyard intros. Yeah, I have a, as I mentioned, playlist on my channel. I've been like making thumbnails for those, and the one that says collaborations, there's Wes right there next to Bones and Mayanne and Patrick and all y'all that are here, people I've collaborated with and been on screen with. So I even Mrs. Night Owl, when I had mentioned that Bones had passed, or the Bones, Jesus, that Ice Lord had passed away. She's like, Wes? I was like, yeah. It was like even Mrs. Night Owl is fully aware of Wes, and what a sad thing it was. What's a locust? Yeah, right. Those creepy ones that come out like every 17 years or whatever, but they make those the cricketing noises in the background. Bzz. Yeah. Do you have an owl movie list? Not yet. I need to. Hunter's Moon. Is that this one? A bug, May. Yeah, that's a locust. You. Man's favorite is Ginger Snaps. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Ginger Snaps. Cursed. Cursed I saw once. I need to revisit it. Like I said, the whole thing where you can't really appreciate a movie till second time. First time I watched it, I found it to be a little too like CW. It was a little too Beverly Hills 90210, Melrose Place, Charmed, One Tree Hill. It's too polished for my liking. But I'd like to watch it again and see if I appreciate it. Um, Bad Dragon. I don't think I've seen Bad Dragon. Lynette says she enjoys the werewolf scene in Trick or Treat. Yeah, I like that one because it's such a fun build up because we care about, once again, you tell me a story where I start to care about a character, and then as things happen for that character, then horror pops up, and I was like, oh, I wasn't even expecting that. I'm even more shook up right now. Um, let's see here. The Beast Must Die with Calvin Lockhart. Yeah, that's one. That's one I've two or three times during werewolf movies. I've been like, "What's that one with the werewolf dinner party?" And Patrick has my back on it. So yeah, I remember The Beast Must Die. No. Are there any owl horror movies? Because I only know three owl movies, and none of them are horror. Yeah, I know all the owl movies I know are all like children's fantasy movies and stuff. The Owls of Ga'Hoole or whatever. Um, I don't know. Bad Dragon is good. What's Bad Dragon? I don't know. I would know though. Let me see. What are let's look at Bad Dragon. Movie. Oh, it's a kids cartoon. I was unaware. Hmm. I'll probably watch that with my kids. I watch so much damn Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and Muppet Babies and Bat Wheels. Anything to try to get the baby to watch something else. I negotiated with her the other day to get her to watch Mickey Mouse Three Mouseketeers or whatever. I was like, "Look, Pete's in it." I try putting on stuff for her. Her little sister tries to get her to watch Super Kitties with her and stuff. It's like children's programming is just terrible. Oh, that's right. I forgot all this sad thing. This poor little boy, right? He's got these zombie parents, but then he has to take care of them too. So he goes to the grocery store and gets all the Campbell's soup and has to like feed him. So you just feel so awful for this kid. Like his parents are basically dead. They're catatonic, completely useless. He's got this psycho witch lady living with him, and he's got this burden of not telling anybody about it. And that's a character to feel sorry for. And here we get a look at Amy Madigan like without the stuff on. And you can see, yeah, she's an old hag. She's got like these crazy locks of hair. She looks almost like Zelda from Pet Cemetery. She's a mess. Except Zelda, if she went on vacation to the Cancun and came back with braids. Um, exactly. I know the same ones. Don, right? The owl movies are always like little kid ones. Don't look it up, Don. What is Bad Dragon a thing that I don't know? Bad Dragon is a movie. I don't even want to know. Well, I think I got walked into a goof on the big guy, and I'm fine with it. Bad Dragon. Um, when I was doing the research for this, there's a special thanks to David Fincher. in the credits. I never noticed it. I didn't watch the credits, which is bad of me. You should always watch the credits and support the fine people who put so much hard work into these movies, and at least make sure there's no post credit scene. But apparently David Fincher gets a shout out because Cregger went to him and asked him for a lot of advice on making movies, and he helped make this, helped get this going and stuff. David Fincher is the guy who did Fight Club, Seven, The Game, Zodiac. So this movie, when you look at it, it looks like a Fincher film. It's shot in a tighter aspect ratio, the widescreen, not the regular 16:9. So it's got the letter boxes at the top and bottom. Lots of dark shadows. Fincher's coloring style, it's called Crush the Blacks, which is also a lot of political parties concepts. Uh, on here, basically, you turn up the contrast and the shadows and a bunch of other things, and it gives things crisp edges. And like dude's pants, you can't even tell what color they are; they just look black. But now he turns into light and they're brown. So you kind of give everything a shadowy, dark look, and it makes it feel more. It's weird. It's both subdued and vibrant. Like it's not real colorful and it doesn't pop, but at the same time, everything just is in good focus and really looks clean. Um, I think visually, probably my two favorite filmmakers, like the way their films look, is probably David Fincher and probably to a certain extent either Christopher Nolan or Steven Spielberg. Like there's just some people who when they shoot the movies they shoot, and it's always the director of cinematography. Like Spielberg and John Carpenter have used the same cinematographers a lot and stuff. Um, but like when you shoot a movie, and it just has that look where the way it looks to your eyes doesn't bounce you out of the movie. You're not reminded you're watching a movie. You know, the other day I was watching Crackoon. As most people do. I was watching Crackoon, and it looks like it's shot on an iPhone. And that type of movie is supposed to be like that. But while I'm watching it, I just kept thinking like I'm always being bounced out of it, thinking about the people making it and how they probably didn't have any permits and they're trying to run real fast and get everything shot before they get in trouble. That's every trauma movie. I'm bounced out of the movie by how cheaply and poorly made. But like some directors' film styles, like this, like Christopher Nolan, like Spielberg, like whoever, certain filmmakers just have a look to their movies that just feels clean and right. And I don't know, this is that same style. Don, bad dragons are toys for women. Oh, okay. See, I keep Mrs. Night Owl very sheltered. She's not allowed to know about that stuff. But our anniversary is coming up, so maybe I will check into it. She keeps suggesting to me that whole dong hammock thing with the elephant ears. It's late. Nobody else is watching. It's like a trunk thing, and then I put it on. And anyways, yeah. So I should probably look up what a bad dragon is and get back to her. Bones is laughing his ass off. I was supposed to go to bed early today. Well, thank you for hanging out. I'm lucky that you're here. I mean, bad dragons are toys for women. Watchmen had Night Owl in it. Yeah, when I look for Night Owl stuff and things on the internet or like little images of clip arts and stuff, I always find Night Owl from Watchmen. Happy anniversary, Mrs. Night Owl. Bone says no. Oh, she's getting a show that night. Yeah, well, there was a couple. What was it? It was the elephant with the trunk and then the ears, and then I think there was like maybe a monkey with a banana. I don't remember. But anyways, back to this movie, which is what I'm supposed to be here, not talking about my dong and a thlong. Uh, the way the kids run with the arms out, like they say, like guided missiles that have been programmed to go where they're going. Like one time I looked out the window and one of the neighborhood kids was running by, running like that. So now I guess for the rest of my life, that imagery is just going to haunt me. If I see anyone running with their arms back, I'm just going to be haunted by weapons. Uh, let's see here. What I asked Google if there are any horror movies about owls, and they said yes. Would you like to know the names of them? Yes, I would like to know the name of the owl horror movies. He's doing a Resident Evil movie next. Cregger? Is that who we're talking about? Or David Fincher? Fincher, I doubt. Really? Maybe. She don't want no further. She is down there like the size of a fire hydrant. Well, let's settle down. Yes, tell us, Nan. Yeah, I would like to know the what films have scary owls in them. I recently watched Good Boy. You guys seen that one? That was a wild one. It's a horror movie told from the first person point of view of a dog. And like, I like dogs, so hey, good boy. But that was a weird one. Like, I thought it would be way more cut and dry. Like, oh, this is going to be like Milo Notice meets Scream or whatever. And instead, no, whole first person dog story. No talking. Ben says Sinners, Ugly Stepsister, and Freaky Tales were his favorite of last year. I did not see Ugly Stepsister and Freaky Tales. I don't think I didn't see. I think it was on my to do list, but I will check out both of those actually. Ugly Stepsister and Freaky Tales. All right, you got it. Magic Rabbits were Sex in the City. Oh, okay, yeah, that's. Lord of Tears has owls in the movie. Lord of Tears, huh? Sounds like a Metallica album. Good Boy didn't do too much for me. Yeah, that's what I mean. I was interested in the concept. Like I saw the trailer and I thought, oh, a horror movie with the dog as a star. And it because the character never talks, you don't really connect to him on any level other than he's a good boy who loves his owner. Humans can speak and have stories. So you basically just have to love the main character based solely on I sure hope nothing happens to that dog because I love doggies. Boo Bones. Oh, Cheetah liked or Patrick enjoyed the good boy. So here we're cutting back to more scenes of this poor little kid feeding his parents, and now he's feeding all the kids in his basement the chicken noodle soup. Yeah, once again, cinematography, like I was just rambling about, looks so good. Like the shadows, the way like it's dark, but it's well lit. That's one of the things I love about Escape from New York and The Warriors. When I was a kid, those two movies came out real close to each other, and they had very similar vibes, aesthetics, whatever fancy word you want to use. Um, and that nighttime but clear. Like a lot of times, if you want nighttime stuff to look clear, you got to shoot day for night, and everything's all blue and it looks like crap. But to be able to shoot, like even here, they're in the house in the day with all the curtains closed, and it's so dark and shadowy. Like it looks like Panic Room. It looks like a David Fincher movie. The Fourth Kind is a movie about aliens that appear in the form of a white owl to be witnesses. What'd you guys think of The Fourth Kind? What's that? Mia Jovovich or whatever? Lilu Dallas Multipass. Um, that one, another one. I tried to watch two or three times, fell asleep during. Um, I thought, I think it's called The Forgotten with what's her name? Why am I drawing a blank? Juliette Moore, maybe? Uh, uh, Julianne Moore, something. Uh, uh, that one was a more enjoyable movie in the same genre around the same time. Um, we're we're overdue for aliens again. Like things go in and out of fashion. We had a gluttony of zombie movies for a while, and before that, the 90s there was a period where there were hella vampire movies. I think it's off the success of Lost Boys and Near Dark. You get Interview with a Vampire and John Carpenter's Vampires and Dusk Till Dawn, and then vampire movies kind of fade out. You don't get as many vampire movies, and then zombies come into fashion, and we had all that. So I feel like we're overdue for a good like alien horror, Invasion of the Body Snatchers type thing. The aliens are here, they're killing us, man. So here we see Julia Garner and is staking out the house where the little kids in there, taking care of the parents and all the missing kids, and uh, her and Josh Brolin are just sort of watching, and then Paul, the cop with the mustache, friggin' young Han Solo comes out and waves them in. They're like, well, what do we do? And that's to me, that's a funny bit of business. Like they're out there thinking they're being secretive, and the guy they're spying on comes out and tells them, "Come on in." And they're like, "I guess we go in now. I don't know." The little boy who in this, he does a great job. This one that everybody feels sorry for. Um, the Owl Witch, number four. Escape from New York and The Warriors would be a great double feature, right? That's I often think of them. They're different movies, but they're sort of the same. You know, it's just running around at night trying to get away from the crazy stuff, bad guys out there. Oh, Papa Goss is here. What's up, Josh? How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you, my friend. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. I saw you and Larry been working together. I love that tag team. And Josh in general, he does like the coolest content. Like it's such a polished, clean presentation. He's such a friendly, likable guy. I love Papa Goss's channel. What's up, Cheetah? Uh, um, and you adored Good Boy so much. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't do it for me. I mean, it was enjoyable. I watched the whole thing. You know, I made it to the end, but it like I say, it needed the dog needed more than just he's a good boy for us to root so hard for him. You know, like in this, we see Julia Garner. She's got the whole thing. We feel bad for her because everybody thinks she did something to these kids, and we know she didn't and stuff. So there's like a story to her. As where the dog movie, it's just like, yeah, I like dogs, so I don't want nothing to happen to this dog. And here we see the line of salt on the ground and how you're not allowed to cross the line of salt or it'll trigger the, crazy. Basically, what these are is zombies. These are the old classic Bela Lugosi white zombies, not modern zombies, the Romero zombies where somebody's dead and, backing up and walking around. But this is like voodoo curse, make them into your slave zombies, and the bulging eyes on these people. Like first I mentioned earlier, the principal at the school, and now the cop with his eye. I don't know if that was part of the prerequisite of getting cast for this movie. What do you look like when you're having autoerotic asphyxiation? Do your best Arnold Schwarzenegger from Total Recall at the end when Mars and he can't breathe. Let me see your eyes bulge out of your head. Let's see here. Oh, thank you, buddy. I would have fallen into this amazing video about Larry. So happy he is down to collaborate. Yeah, Larry is just the best dude. I don't think I've ever done a stream where I haven't pointed out what an awesome, amazing person Horror Cat Dad is. Always supportive, cool friend. Love that guy to death. As I love you, my friend. As I love Patrick. As I love May. As I love Nan. What are you talking about, Nan? The Black Gloves. This movie's a follow up to The Lord of Tears. Really? See, but I don't know if I would call these owl horror movies. These feel like horror movies that have an owl in them. Like I need the owls to be like an agent of destruction. Like Frogs or Night of the Lepus. I need like Night of the Hoots. Something like that. Judge Doom and Roger Rabbit. That's some bug eyes. B.J. Armstrong from the old Chicago Bulls. How's that for you? Hey Nanette. All right. So there, that was an awesome scene. He's choking her, the cop who he's been having an affair with or whatever, and he's got the crazy zombie bug eyes, and he's got her pinned against the wall, and he's choking her, and she takes his gun and holds it against him and just caps him. But like I say, this movie has just been so slow that when it finally builds to all this action and insanity, it just feels like a piano fell on you. What's your favorite movie bug eyes? People in the chat in the comments. I'm gonna go with Marty Feldman from Bride of our Young Frankenstein. Oh hell no! You got my B.J. Armstrong joke. Thank you. I appreciate that. That was a deep cut right there. But BJ did have some bug eyes. I remember that. Taco Bell, aka Night of the Toot Toots. That's an owl one. How about Owl Be Back? And it's like an Arnold Schwarzenegger owl. He's like all swole. That's you'll have to forgive me. I have Arnold on the brain. Our uh our first baby together, me and Mrs. Night Owl, Mia, I often, you talk for the baby. You kind of do the look who's talking thing. You give it a voice and give it a personality or whatever. So our baby Mia, tiny little white girl. Well, she's not tiny; she's a friggin' monster baby, but that's a separate story. Um, so I always give her like this, just like hood accent, or yo, what's up, man? Can you change my diaper and give me a Newport? All right, for real. Hey, man, can I borrow like $3 till Tuesday? I want to buy a new binky. So we got a new baby coming. I don't got no voice for the new baby. So for some reason, it's a bad impersonation of Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I like rub my wife's belly and be like, "How are you doing in there?" She's like, "I'm doing fine, thank you. I'm getting superior adult and trap exercises today. I've been doing lots of Hindu squats. I want to get big thighs when I come out of the womb." So now the kids are doing Arnold Schwarzenegger as the baby's voice. I think I'm gonna win. Everybody else is like, "Ooh, gagu magu, I'm a baby." It's like, yeah, my baby talks like the king of action. Um, love Marty and Young Frankenstein, right? I love it. Igor. um, let's see here. You better get a voice for Baby Owl. Yeah, right. The closest thing you're gonna get to the birds and Birdemic. Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's what I need. Is I'm looking for a movie like The Birds, except with owls. Oh, here we go. This is the climactic end. Oh, and I missed 217. Well, we didn't really. We kind of mentioned it, but the amazing part of this movie is where at the end, she's weaponized these children against the people, and it's held this town in terror, and it's ruined these people's lives, and these kids and everything. So at the end, they turn the kids on the witch, and the kids just like chase her, and she does like this Ferris Bueller's Day Off thing where she's running from backyard to backyard and gutting through houses and stuff, and just being chased by a classroom full of children. And my wife, like she mentioned when she walked by, how much she loved the ending because when these little kids catch up with her, they f her up. It reminds me of the end of Hostel 2. If you've seen that, there's a very similar kind of thing with the little kids getting the revenge on the bad guys. Um, but just the comedic ending, like I say, it's Ferris Bueller. She's just running from backyard to backyard, and we're just seeing the point of view. I think Shaun of the Dead does kind of the same type of scene. Yeah, and we're following just right behind one of the little kids, just jumping through plate glass windows and sliding glass doors. And this whole shot right here is a oneer. We followed them through the backyard, through the house, through two windows, through a patio door, out the front window. That was an awesome shot. And then here's the wild overhead push down where just all these kids just basically, it looks like Walking Dead or something. They just devour this witch. And we see Brolin's under control of the witch, and she's trying to choke out Julia Garner, and Ruth's trying to, oh my God, get away, Seven, Wyatt. Um, and then here's another tribute, a little horror movie shout out with the mom trying to get at the son through the bathroom door, and it looks like The Shining. And then now they're just totally ripping this woman's face apart, and they pull her head off of the mandible apart, like the freaking King Kong does that T Rex in the Peter Jackson version. Snap your fingers, Thanos. Fix all this. Wow, yeah, just the now we're like forced to follow the destruction. Like he's got to piece out what happened while he was zombied out. Like, what the hell? I thought these kids were here, and now there's just a trail of destruction heading down the block. Wild. Um, Papa says, "Congratulations, brother. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm blessed with my second baby girl. We had a daughter together, Mia, Mrs. Mia Wallace, and so we had Mia. Then Mrs. Night Owl really wanted to have a boy. She wanted a son with green eyes like mine, tall kid, and of course we're gonna have another girl. So she said if the baby doesn't come out with green eyes, she's leaving it at the hospital. So if anybody like a good deal on a baby with brown eyes, let me know. Um, but other than that, no, Lily will be here. As I said, the current expected due date is 420, which is also mine and Mrs. Night Owl's anniversary. So that'll be quite the day. I have a feeling that baby's going to come early, though. She's already doing the things that indicate she's ready to come out. She hired a moving company. She ordered a backpack or a damn parachute. from Amazon, a couple bungee cords. The signs are there that she's on her way out. So now he backtracks and follows this Ferris Bueller line of destruction, and there's all the kids just standing in the backyard in a field of blood. It looks like Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's just everywhere. And they're just standing around looking like, well, she had it coming. I mentioned earlier it's kind of the classic monster movie story. The mad scientist makes the monster, and then eventually that monster kills the mad scientist. That's basically what happened here. I thought this was a much more fun version of Hereditary. I thought it had the same vibe as Hereditary, very similar. Like the tone, I should say, not vibe. But this is just so much more fun, and the ending is so much more satisfying. Like it's a bummer of a movie for so long, and there's still a lot of bummer stuff at the end. But to see that witch get her comeuppance, written and directed by Zach Cregger, bang. They're already talking about making a part two to this. I don't know how the hell they would, but like I said, they spent 38 million to make it, and it made 270 at the box office. And it's obviously getting a good run at the critics and all that stuff. So, in general, I think it'll probably last the test of time. Oh, it went away before I could do the you may also like. Let's see. Let's go back. Let's see if we can find it. That's what's my favorite game to play is the you may also like. What else would you say is like uh, weapons? Um, what's it called? There's something wrong with the kids. I think it's kind of like that. You may also like the Salem's Lot remake, Heretic with Hugh Grant, The Witch with the Queen's Gambit girl. Trap with M. Night Shyamalan. Get Out. Opus. I've been meaning to see Opus, actually. Bring Her Back. We mentioned that earlier. The Monster, I recommend. I watched The Monster one night. But we'll talk about it sometime. We may watch it. It's a wild one. Evil Dead Rise, Companion, Maxine, Split, Glass, Nightmare on Elm Street. They're just giving me whatever horror movies are on HBO Max. They're not telling me things like it. How dare you? Well, and speaking of how dare me, or how dare anyone, how dare I? How dare I be up this late? It is 3:09 Eastern Time, and I thank you for joining me and watching me watch Weapons, my favorite movie from last year. Like I say, most people probably like Sinners. A lot of folks cape for One Battle After Another, but this was my favorite of last year. It's the one I'll probably end up watching over and over again. Let me close this tab with Bad Dragon up on top there. Um, and let me close this tab on this stream. I thank all of you for joining me. I appreciate it. A lot of my awesome friends popped by. Let's see a few people here. Joe Bob has been hinting that this Friday show maybe his last. Yeah, I'd heard that too. I'm scared. The ending of this movie is epic. Yeah, man loves it. I loved it too. That's what I mean. It's such a downer of a movie with so much sad stuff going on that with that ending comes, it's almost uplifting. Snap. Ah, Underworld, unless the people doing the movie don't take into account the lure of an owl. Damn, ready to deploy. Jamie Hart is here. I gotta say hi to Jamie. Good thing I checked before there. Hi, Jamie. I'm glad you're here. Yeah. Oh, Jamie, everybody loves Jamie, so that's where a bunch of these things I missed popped up. Um, Cage's mom and dad is similar, Don. Mm, maybe. There's something wrong with the children. Mom and dad is similar. I don't know if I ever saw that. Interesting. There's something wrong with the children. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. But instead of the kids, it's adults. Oh, okay. Village of the Damned. There you go, Patrick. That's probably the classic. Um, I was taken back by the last live stream I did was the one where I went over a thou was Season of the Witch. And the poster for Season of the Witch and Weapons, like if you go to my page and you look at my live streams, the two thumbnails right next to each other, it's the same deal with the silhouettes of the kids and the bright background and that Season of the Witch thing, and that's basically getting the kids of the world to do the damage. So that would probably be my pick. If you got any more, leave them in the comments below. The monster is top drawer. I enjoyed the monster. Cinderella says this was awesome. I thank you. The reason I love these chats is so much is because I got the best co-host in the world. You guys, I could ramble and say all my dumb stuff and my ridiculous puns for 2 hours, but without you guys here bouncing ideas off me, it's what I love about it. That's why I enjoy this. So, folks are all saying hello to everyone. Man saying good night. Jamie says she was late as usual. Well, it was important that you were here, and we love that you were here because you are awesome. Pet Cemetery. Yeah, there you go. That's one with the kids being evil. Good night, lovely peeps. So thanks for the lovely stream, Don. Well, thank you, Karen. I appreciate you being here. You guys make sure you check out Karen's channel, and I believe Karen also has some merch that you need to check out. As I recall, she was rolling out a new line over there at Spirits and Screams. So be sure to do Karen a favor and check out her merch as she did for me and checked out mine. A lovely lady. Patrick says, "Be safe." I will. I'm gonna go step outside and see what's going on with the moon and walk around and calm down, and then go get in bed with Mrs. Night Owl and see if that baby's asleep yet. I love all of you. Thank you so much for joining me. I wish every one of you green grass and high tides forever. Keep an eye on my channel. I'm hoping to do this again real soon. All right. See you guys later. Bye. What was all that?